There is a story to be told by everyone, a story of struggle, of triumph, of love, of passion. But things aren't always as they seem on the surface. To truly hear it, we must go beneath.
Bobby Sessions
Hello.
in the house.
I'm here.
Yes. How are you tonight?
I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Perfect says for your sophomore album. Grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really want to get into why I wanted to do this interview. I kind of want to set that stage.
Okay.
Number one, young legend from Dallas.
Yes.
You are truly setting the stage to make yourself a true legend. You're not only saying that, it truly is coming to pass.
Thank you.
You have garnered national attention with Black America. You are really resonating with people.
Thank you.
And so I wanted to be able to, you've had interviews, and of
Right.
course people want to talk to you about your music.
Right.
But when I hear you perform, which your performances are riveting, I can't help but think, who is this person?
Thank you.
How has he gotten to this point, this frame of mind, and this is coming into his music. So tonight, it's an exploration of who Bobby Sessions is. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
awesome. So I want to get into just your childhood. Like, I want to get down to like the nitty gritty, like the basics, because I don't even know if people know that. Born, raised, what kind of kid were you? Were you the artsy one that was singing? What was Bobby Sessions like as a child?
As a kid, I was doing a lot of dancing. Michael Jackson was the GOAT.
Really?
Always been the GOAT, I guess. Everlasting GOAT. Shout out Michael Jackson.
Totally.
But yeah, I was doing a lot of dancing, a lot of...
So you were literally like moonwalking?
Oh yeah, like in the kitchen, like with the socks or with the dress shoes. Like I had the coldest moonwalk in Pleasant Grove. for
What?
sure. If you let me tell it, I'm sure somebody could have smoked me. For
Okay.
Sure. But we're living in my reality right now. But yeah, a lot of dancing, I was always into entertaining. So I used to sing, and rap was something I was always wanted to do, but I was kind of scared, like, I can't never be like a rapper, like a cool, never be the person that's like the chains and the women in the hot tub with the champagne.
And why was that?
It seemed like a far-fetched thing to me. Like it seemed like something like, oh, somebody like me can't do that. But I was pretty confident as a kid, but that still was like out of my range, at least so I thought. So sports was really the dominant thing in my life, like basketball, football. Like on top of idolizing people like Michael Jackson, I was idolizing Randy Moss and Michael Jordan. Like my dad had the old like VCR tapes, and I used to watch all the Michael Jordan games in the finals, and those were the seeds of like my mentality of like kind of killer instinct. Like that came from like the Michael Jordan tapes over and over again, like brainwashed by that. So I was obsessed with like Jordan and just culture and dancing and things like that. And then rap was just like a bug. Like I would freestyle and like people would react to it in like elementary school, like the song
So you were freestyling?
Oh yeah, like the whole time.
Okay.
Like the whole time. But I never saw myself as a rapper. I thought I was just good at this one aspect, and that I had so much respect for rappers. Me being good in that one aspect wasn't enough for me to have the self-image of a rapper.
Exactly.
Like I was like, I don't do this, I don't put enough time in it, but when I'm freestyling, like I'm trying to have the best like one. I want to be the one remembered. So the record I have with Topic, Peyton Manning, that literally started from an elementary school thing, banging on the desk, like freestyling. And then when I got to middle school, it turned to kind of like, I got into like battle rap real heavy. So it was this first battle.
And this is in Dallas?
This is all in Dallas. So all the way up until I was 12 years old, I was living in Pleasant Grove, went to Edna Road Elementary.
Wow. PG.
Yes, right off Jim Miller Road. And I was very comfortable there. Like I felt good there. I was the president of the school when I left Edna Road.
These are the things we want to know.
And I only won because of the speech. I promised all the kids, I said the teachers would make you buy, I would make the teachers buy the whole class McDonald's. If y'all,
well, no wonder why that worked.
So, and the teachers was like, look at me like, no.
Like, this
but the
shall not
kids was
happen.
like, off the idea, the fact that he went up here and said this, they all voted for me.
How fascinating.
Yeah. So, sorry I didn't deliver on that promise.
Yeah.
But
his intentions were right.
They were right.
Yeah.
They were right. I couldn't persuade the teachers. But yeah, And we moved because DISD was starting to go in a direction that my parents didn't feel was good for my little brother. He was told from an early age that there were certain things that he couldn't do due to certain reasons, and it felt like DISD wasn't catering to those things. So my parents worked really hard, bust their ass. Can I cuss on this?
Sure, certainly. Be yourself.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. So yeah, they really bust their ass, and then they moved us to Rowlett, Texas. It was the suburb
And
in
what
Dallas.
age was that?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
I was 12 years old, and it was like a real culture shock because like I was used to living around like all like black people and like Mexican people. I really didn't have like a lot of experiences with white people until I was 12 years old. So then when we moved to the suburbs, like this place with like golf course homes and stuff like that, like it was like, wow, like my parents got like the MTV Cribs house. Like it's like, cause they used to look at houses all the time. I used to be sick of it because I was like, I rather want to be in Pleasant Grove like forever. Like I had the whole thing mapped out. And when we moved, it was like real, kind of traumatic. It's just like I had a blueprint for what my young days were supposed to be. And now I'm at this place where I really don't know anyone besides my brother and my parents. Like, and you're going on the bus stop and the kids are like completely different. They dress completely different. The vibes are completely different. The teachers, like everything. But the hip hop like culture from a fashion perspective and the music and the dancing, that's how I connected with the other black people, with the other black kids where their families moved them to the suburbs. I feel like my generation was the first black kids that got like a suburb experience, you know? And so from there, like I got into battle rap, like I said, and we would be in the locker room and I would go up to other players and I would like diss them rapping, but they never would like rap back. And I used to get like some kind of, the flame just kept burning and burning from there. I'm like, man, I really think I'm good at this, but not enough to like keep declaring it. So like by the time I got to high school, I started freestyling more and more, and that evolved to writing poems and short stories.
So wordsmith, you were definitely, words were a huge passion for you.
I was obsessed with words. Like I saw how other people talked. Like I saw how, I guess, black people talked where I was from, and I never wanted to exactly talk like that. And then I saw like how white people were talking in the preppier places, and I really didn't want to talk like that either. And there's no disrespect to either one.
Of course, yeah.
But I was like, I want to do both, like both. Like I like how we all talk, and I want to mix all that up and have like a certain way that I talk that's different from everybody else. Like if you're black, white, brown, whatever, it's a certain way Bobby talks. And that was like important to me then. I always wanted to like be like unify with everyone, but be an individual kind of thing. So
that makes so much sense because that was one of the later questions I'm going to ask you, is just how you are able to bring this cross-cultural feel to your performances and to your fans, but yet also be a voice for Black America.
Definitely.
So that really connects for me, like that your experience, that's why this has happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Like,
fascinating.
End up being us moving was the best thing that ever happened to me because I got to deal with cultures that I wasn't really dealing with before, like from like different kinds of black people, like the kind of black people that like I was dealing with out there. It wasn't the same kind of black people like where I'm from. Like those first 12 years when I wasn't in Pleasant Grove, every weekend I stayed with my grandmother, my great grandmother, and she lived in South Dallas, which is where I shot the Black Neighborhood video. Literally at her house in like Oak Cliff, and that was like every weekend and every summer. So it's like a certain kind of person I was used to dealing with, and it made me kind of like get out of my comfort zone and start dealing with like Asian people and like people that just had different experiences than me.
And you were receptive to that. There was no prejudice. It was definitely like opening.
It was just like, wow, like for example, I had like a neighbor that had like a vending machine in his garage, and I'd be like, how like, and it's like this is how I'm living, bro. This is how, like, this is what it is, and I'd be like, man, that's like really cool. And from the skateboarding and all that, like getting introduced to like that lifestyle and like getting to hear their stories and see why they do that and the freedom of that. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I can expand by getting around these people. And that's why my shows are super diverse.
They are.
Because I can talk about race, and the black people are like, okay, he's not sugarcoating this. This is the real stuff. But the white people are like, he's saying this in a way where I'm not offended when I hear it.
Exactly.
Like, so I think that
it's resonating with everybody.
Yeah,
which,
definitely.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's what I have noticed at your performances, that there's a sense of resonating no matter
Yeah.
what race you are, and
Right.
that makes sense knowing your background now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and sometimes I'll perform. I'll talk about race, and I'll see some white people like walk out, and it's kind of like I get it. I don't hold it. It's not personal or nothing. Like, I understand it, but you know, I think people thought, like, because I'm about the law of attraction and stuff like that, that I'm gonna turn a blind eye to somebody getting shot on camera. Like, I'm not. That happened. Like, that really happened in real life. So.
Very well said. I
Yeah.
think that's been another unique part of you, is the spiritual part of you, but also you're not fearful to tackle social issues.
No.
Being spiritual and living the law of attraction doesn't, make you not want to speak about those social
Right.
issues.
Yeah, it's not an or thing.
Yeah,
Like, if I'm
totally.
this, that means I can't speak on this. Like,
Yeah.
can walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. Walk and chew gum. Okay, so then going into high school and then college, we're painting a picture of
Yeah.
your life here. Yeah.
Okay, so towards the end of high school, I got really deep into the short stories, and so I was like, I had one in particular called Soul Searching, and ironically, the whole poem was about a kid watching his favorite rapper on TV tell him that all the chains and all the stuff is not real because I sold my soul to get it. And then while he's watching the TV, like, the TV cuts off, and then the devil knocks on his door and offers him a contract, and then he signs the contract selling, like, he signs it saying, like, you won't have my soul or something like that. And like, I would perform that at like different churches, and like the poetry started being like this thing that like I got really into, and I was like, man, I think I can make a career out of poetry, but I was kind of scared to do that. So I was like, all right, let me get into.
Because you didn't think it was feasible?
No.
Like, who makes a
I was
career out
like,
of poetry?
because I would do it and people would be like, that's cool, but like, how are you gonna make any money doing that? And like, I was like, well, yeah, like, I do need money, like, because I was like between 16 and 18, I started working jobs, and like the money kept me like clean. I had the new shoes and stuff through the money, so I was like, oh yeah, like, I won't make no money, so I'll just try to be on ESPN. Like, that was my goal. It's like, I'm gonna be on ESPN. I went to University of North Texas, got into broadcast journalism as a major, sociology as a minor, and then
People. Yes.
people, the study of people. And
This is all making so much sense.
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. So I move into the dorms, UNT freshman year. This is fall 2010, and I saw an open mic like at the student union the day before school started. I was like, fuck it, I think I'm just finna do it, and I didn't know like anybody. So I do the poem. People were kind of feeling it. Some people was like, oh, that was cool. But this one chick came up to me and was like, you should come to this thing called Poetic Justice. It's on Tuesday. I'm like, what's that? She was like, just come. So it's the next Tuesday I go, and it's at the gazebo in front of the student union. It's like poets, rappers, singers, instrumentalists, and they would go in this gazebo in the middle of this circle and like showcase their talent or whatever. So I go in there, I do the poem. I was super scared, terrified.
Really?
Yeah, because like...
Was that the first time in front of a large amount of people? Well, you said churches, but...
It was my first time in a smaller amount of people. I was used to like big stuff. Like high school, I used to do pep rallies and the talent show and stuff like that. But it was my first time like in a real intimate...
And also amongst your peers, heavily, correct?
Yeah, and it's a bunch of people like where I didn't know, like, I went up there by myself and didn't know, like, I only knew the girl that invited me, and it's not like, we know each other like that or whatever. So I do it. People kind of went crazy at the end of it, and I was like, man, like, that felt really good. And they had a cipher at the end of it, and I saw the guys rapping, and then like the Jordan stuff started kicking in. I was like, these are supposed to be rappers, but I can beat these guys. Like, I was really believing that. And like, I had a thought like, oh, you're just being like arrogant. I was like, shut up. So I, to that thought. So I went home. I wrote raps. I came back the next Tuesday.
So you had a true assessment of your talent, really. Actually, it was like, I know I can do that.
I can beat these
yeah,
guys.
I can.
Like I know I can beat these guys. And I went home. I wrote a verse. I came back the next Tuesday, and it was actually the same day that me and Zaya's like relationship started. Like the same night. So it was like November 16th, 2010. I recited this rap, and I had one line where I was like, trying to see me is like a blind man staring through a peephole. And like, people was like, just like, whoa, like, who is this dude? And I was like, yo, I'm finna be a rapper. So right at that moment, I had a class, the next class I had in broadcast journalism. The whole lesson that day was, the professor was talking about how journalists can like alter stories to create a certain like narrative. And I was like, if I blew up, somebody in my class can like write a tabloid about me, and like it not even be real, but people like believe it and choose to not support me because they saw it. And then like I was like, I'm finna leave this class. So I left and like never went back to like that class. So I like switched my majors in college, and my major was sociology and my minor was philosophy. And then like I got into like even deeper poetry and stuff like that. And then in the philosophy, I realized like that those guys were kind of like rappers. And like Jesus and those guys, he was kind of like a rapper, a guy that spoke in parables. And I was like, college isn't for me, I'm gonna rap. And then at that point, like I was a rapper.
And how far into your years into college did you do that? So
after my first semester in college, by the time I went back, I had met Justice, who went by JT back then, but Justice, who's inside of Dr. Dre's camp now. And he was like the first like established rapper that I considered established, that like was like, hey dog, like you're dope, like you're really dope, like. And so after being around him and soaking up game from him, like I was like, by the time my second semester came, I knew I was done like with college. So I left and decided to live with him, and we was like just thugging it out, like. So I left my job, I left college, and it went like.
So in your head, music full time.
Yeah, like I'm finna blow up in like 60 days, and that did not happen. That did not happen. I literally went crazy. Like I lost my mind. Like spiritually, like everything that I thought was real, I decided wasn't real, and it made me like rebel against like life. Like the universe, God, like that's why it's crazy to think like what I'm on now. Like back then, like I was like, I'm trying to think what made me lose it.
Hopeless.
Yeah, hopeless. Like I was kind of abusing like the popularity I was getting at that school. I felt like shame, like real shame, like and guilt. And then on top of that, like I had a science class, and they were talking about like religion and stuff like that. And then somehow at the end of this class, I was thinking about like, what if I met like some little 15-year-old girl in like India, and she never heard about like Jesus Christ, like, and she died. She never lied, she never stole, she never murdered anyone or had a bad thought about someone. Like she's finna burn in flames forever because she missed a class that wasn't available. Like I was like, something about that was just I was just losing. But that me thinking like, nah, like, well, yeah, of course she's gonna burn in hell. Like if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, like you're done. I was like, if that's how God does it, like I don't want to be cool with that. Like so I took that out on God instead of like how people manipulate stuff. Like now I'm at a point now, I don't think that was ever the intention behind those like messages and stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff Jesus said or these other great prophets, and they're really not dissing people and damning people and stuff like that, but that's what I thought. So that alone, on top of that guilt and shame that I was like, it was like compound interest, like bad karma, like and it was just like this crazy thing.
How did that come to pass where you are, where you now? What brought you through that?
So
that obviously added a great deal of depth to you though. To
Yeah,
go through
definitely,
that. Yeah.
definitely. Like I'm grateful I got like dirt road to a pot of gold. Like that ain't no like that's real. That's real like talk. So as I'm going through this, I'm rapping at the same time, like doing something else that's like new, and I'm like, yeah, I'm finna blow up. I'm finna do this and that. But at the same time, I'm feeling like I don't have any control over my life. So we're doing the shows all up and down Deep Ellum, and like we're getting exposure payments. Like, oh nah, like y'all gotta earn your stripes. Like I'm not finna pay you nothing, but you can get your exposure. Like we would do shows not knowing we got the gas to make it back home and stuff like that. So I got so tired of like not having control over my brain. I literally I think I typed in like, how does the mind work? Like I just typed it in. Like I was fed up of like being hopeless. Like nobody told me, like if I could do it all over again, I would have like asked somebody for some help. Like what do I do? Like I'm losing it. But I typed in like, how does the mind work?
We didn't want that to happen because we wanted you to
Yeah,
Google
I know,
that
right?
because that's how LOA, this
Man,
album, came to
it's
pass.
crazy.
It all meant to be as it was because you went through that, and now that is a domino effect for everybody.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important for people to hear that struggle for you because there are so many people who are in that dark spot. And now we see you on stage, we see you doing, and it's like, who would have ever thought? But when someone like me hears that, and I'm like, that had to come from a place of
That's why people are connecting. Like this isn't some like, I'm not your guru. Like I'm just telling you what what happened.
Which in
like,
turn probably grew your compassion for people, because when you're up here, you're always wanting people to get something from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it started from typing in like, how does the mind work? And then I was working at Walmart. Because I was like, man, I can't do this no more. I need some stability. Now my whole thing was like stability. I need stability. This music stuff is too unstable. So I'm like stocking cans and I'm fucking miserable. Like I hate every, like it's only so many chicken noodle soups you can stock before you're like, fuck this shit.
Before you're like, I hate Campbell. Yeah.
So, and the time was going so slow because I didn't want to be there.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like prison. At least it felt like prison. So I started playing games like with my mind to keep me entertained while I'm stocking like all this stuff. So I would see people like walk in and out of Walmart all day, and they had like a different energy. Like they all had different kind of energy, different kind of vibration they carried into the store. So for whatever reason, I was like, I wonder if I think this guy is gonna be nice, would he be nice? Or if I think this kid's gonna be mean, would they be mean? Like if and I would just start doing it, and it would be like pretty accurate like every time based on whatever I thought they were gonna do. And I started thinking like, man, I wonder if I'm a magnet. And then I had a voice in my head like, dude, like the magnets you had in elementary school, this shit, like, nah, you're a fucking person. Like, how are you gonna be a magnet? But I kept believing like, I wonder if I'm a magnet. And one day, me and Zaya were at the apartment, and she just pulls up this documentary called The Secret. And like, I'm just looking at the title, it's like real basic, just says The Secret. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. Like, fuck it. Like, I'll watch it. And then I have never been the same, like, ever.
And so tell me about what that did for you.
It gave me perspective on the stuff I was building on in regards to getting information about how the mind works. Like I was into philosophy, which is more like theories and stuff like that, but nothing that talked about the application of those different theories and ideals. Like how do you apply those things?
I think I've heard you say, we hear all the time, I can be anything I want, but how do I actually do that?
Yeah.
How do I actually, because most people don't, we say it and we know what we should say it. Like, I should be happy every day. I should do what I want. But how do you actually do that? Yeah.
And it would go back to like the stuff as a kid. You see the stuff on MTV Cribs and you're like, if I'm a person and that guy or that female is a person and their closet is bigger than my parents' house, like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And they're telling me that I can do anything. I'm like, are they lying? I'm like, no, probably not. Like, it's something that they know that I don't know. So watching it, I was like, I wonder if I can't control my thoughts. I guess it started shifting right there. Like nobody ever told me like you can control your thoughts. Like I literally thought like they were on like autopilot. Like if I want to think
Whatever
about
came into your head.
pizza,
Yeah.
rhino, football,
Yeah.
jelly, like
Yeah.
whatever, like what, just like this shit just going. And I was like, no, like you can think with like intention. Like I'm the best rapper ever. Like I can feed 1 million people in Africa. Like
Yes.
you can do that, and like all your, and then the thoughts that don't coincide with that, you can just kind of like they have no impact, they have no place to grow. Like so that introduced me to that, so I started like trying it from there. Like me and Zaya we had like
Dream
like
board.
yeah, dream board, vision board, dry erase board, and a construction paper actually, and we would go print like all these different images, and we would like post them up and put them like as soon as you wake up you would see them. Be like an Audi, like a bunch of like, they were things at first, like I want these things. So I'll be driving, next thing you know I'll see like a lot more Audis, but that still was kind of far-fetched, like because like all this new information had to like get in completely in my system and eliminate all the old habits that I spent 21 years developing. Like so then I started getting dissatisfaction from that, because I'm like, why am I not getting these things? Like I want this much money in 30 days and I didn't get that much money. Now I'm disappointed again, and like that was putting me in a bad state. So then I started studying states, like mental states and like energy. So the student came back. Like I started researching like every book I could on the law of attraction and then it turned into law of vibration, law of like sound, and like all this different stuff. And I'm working another job where I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life, and I'm still miserable. I could buy like the things I couldn't when I was struggling at 19, but I'm still not happy. Like something's still off. And one day Zaya was like, man, wouldn't it be crazy like if we just left our jobs? Like we should just leave our jobs. I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's do it. And I was still scared because like I went through that heartbreak before of it like going bad, like splitting McChickens, go to a show. It's like the Brain Gang days. It's like 6 of us, 7 of us, and we get like $15 total that we gotta split. Like those kind of days, I was scared. I was terrified of like feeling that heartbreak again. But I had decided like I would rather be like 80 on the side of the road with like a Will Rap for Food sign than have some money and pretend that I'm not miserable doing this. And that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, and I was like,
and when you set that standard, then all of a sudden everything started to rise to meet you, right? That's when you began to make LOA, and that's when things really began. It's like almost like the moment you said, this is what I want my life to be about, and there's nothing else that I'll settle for, because this is what it is. The universe just rose up to meet you.
Definitely. When there was a clear mental picture of like what I wanted my life to be.
And do you think maybe beforehand there wasn't something clear?
No.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of like wishes. Like I hope this happened. I wish that this happened. And I decided like I'm not even gonna spend time thinking about being 80 with the sun. Like I'm the best rapper ever. If nobody speaks like me, then I know like I can find some people that'll be into that. It's like I started looking at it like this, like if there's 7 billion people, I can't get 1 million people to like my music. I started doing the math on that, and I was like, you tell me I can't get less than 1%? I was like, nah, that logically don't make any sense to me. I was like, how are you talking about, okay, I'm gonna believe in God, you believe in this like unlimited force, this like limitless, forever, everlasting expansion, like, but you're scared of like your rent. Like, does that make any sense? And I think once I knew that and was clear, like, okay, this, whatever this like higher power thing is, I don't know to call it God or the universe or what, but whatever it is, it fucks with me, and I fuck with it. Let's fucking get it.
I always say when I'm praying, I say, the greatness, that which is, and that which is also me.
Yeah, you are
know?
that.
Yeah,
You
because
are that.
we are that, because we are, like, Oprah always says, it's like, here's the ocean and we're just dipped from the ocean.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk about your craft. So now we know where you got to that point, and then LOA. You can't go to a performance where everybody wants to hear LOA.
Right.
It just shows how much it resonated.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your craft, your memory, and your concerted effort to speedily rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about that.
Um.
Because, I mean, I'm like, is he going to catch his breath? How? And then once I talked to you after, you said, oh, that was something I've worked on. So we can talk all day about but also when you get up, there is that work behind it,
Right.
which is easy to do when you know that you know that you know that's what's called you. But there is work that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It don't really feel like work though. Ironically, like I just try.
Well said. Yeah.
It's like I have fun for a lot of hours every day. Like it's really not work. Like, cause I start when like for example, I can be scrolling on social media and I see somebody saying something that's like fairly ignorant, or I just see something that pops up that's fairly ignorant, or what I perceive to be fairly ignorant, and I was like, I remember when I used to do that. What if I spent that time like rapping or studying rap and like getting better? Like that's what started making me happy. It felt like I was contributing something to the universe by getting better, and every time I start rapping, it's my way with action to tell God thank you. Like thank you for the gift or whatever.
I'm like, which leads to when we walked up. This is just how much you live this. Hey, Bobby, how are you doing tonight? Before we even begin, I'm on cloud 9. I'm on a high right now, and tell them why that was. This is the essence of why I think it's not the fact that you get written up in magazines.
Right.
It's not the fact that you're becoming such a big name, but this is what does it for you.
Yeah, like so someone called me on the way to the interview and was like, I listened to Grateful and it shifted my paradigm, and I had just got like my dream job. And I'm like what? And then he told me the company, and it was just like I was about to start crying in the car. Like I couldn't believe, like I told you when I walked in, like it's unbelievable how belief works. So coming from that place of feeling like unworthy, shame, guilt, like depression, like I never been like suicidal, like with a gun in my head in the mirror, like or nothing like that, but literally I've had some moments in my life I was like, man, like fuck this shit.
Right.
Like,
Is this
shit.
even
Like,
worth it?
Like I would rather die right now than like go through this whole thing like 80 feeling like how I feel right now. I come from that place.
Yes.
Like and like when I come on stage and like I see someone, they're not jumping really, they're not like bobbing their head, they're kind of looking at me like, dude, like whatever you're trying to tell me, like I'm in that, like I'm in that pocket, I'm in that zone, like I feel you, like you're speaking my story right now. When I think of that, me breathing on stage or like how I'm able to rattle syllables off, it becomes like nothing, because it's not about, I don't even worry if I mess up or nothing. Like my purpose feels so much bigger, like in that moment, because I'm seeing people like crying, I'm seeing people like really soaking in the messages, and I can tell like they're in the place I was at when I was feeling like that. Or I got some people that are already in the zone and they come to the shows to stay in the zone, right. Or like, you know, just to for the added fuel. But
there is truly nothing greater for that phone call that you got to be able, because we go through life sometimes without even knowing that we're thinking hopelessly or without change, and before we know 10 years have passed. And that's what I think is so cool. This is not, you know, just something on TV or motivational speakers. You've taken the medium of hip hop, which has been known for degradation of women and, you know, trap music, which, I mean, there's a place for everything, you know, but you're taking this medium and you're giving it to people who probably aren't going to sit down and read, you know, some of the books that are out there about spiritual living. And I think that's what's so amazing about it.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. It's like if I can go that extra mile to do that, to help somebody out. Because like the motivational speakers and the audio books and stuff like that, that's done wonders for me. I understand how that can be boring as shit for somebody on a day-to-day, like,
Yeah.
well, you know, if you put your mind to it,
Right. If
like,
you
oh,
see
this-
it, you can believe it.
this
yeah.
is all right. This guy, this is a scam. This dude's
Right.
trying to hustle me. This dude thinks I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I used to think like that, and I think if people can hear it in a way that's like, I'm planting those seeds in there, but I'm not trying to give you no elevator music. I want you to still have fun. Like if you went to a trap show, like people say
Totally.
like the stuff about trapping. Like I know the content is highly questionable at times in trap music, but the feeling that you get from it, it can't, like, you can't deny it.
And there's a
Like-
reason for
like,
that.
it's just
Yeah.
like, because people need that. Like they're like, man, I had a rough week. Like I want to like
Let loose.
like
yeah.
you know, and I took like the sentiment of that and incorporated it into it.
I love that so much. Like
Yeah.
you epitomized everything what you just said. You took that feeling of, because there is something in us that wants to get lit.
Yeah, straight up.
I mean, and you can feel it on stage, like when you're performing it and
Yeah.
people are jumping up and down, but yet the content is doing something spiritually too.
Yeah, definitely.
That together, dynamite.
And when you see people that like church or something like that, and they catch like the Holy Ghost,
Right.
They got lit. Like
Totally,
that's the
yeah.
like it's like they got
Yeah.
spiritually lit. They hear the dun 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 dun
Right.
dun, like all in the
Yeah.
like they got something clicked, and
Yeah.
it was like a euphoria within like their spirit. Like
Right.
all this flesh and all that, like it couldn't contain that energy. And yeah, I think that helps me like perform. And part of having that flame, when you really get it like all the way turned up, you're lit, literally. When you get the flame turned up, you're lit, and you get other people on fire. Like, yeah, that's contagious.
I think we'll kind of wrap it up with this. My last question for you is, another thing that's very different about you is your lack of ego. And we are in the entertainment business, and
Right.
social media, it's always about who's flossing and who's, you know,
Right.
and the wanting to project an image. You thank every single person that comes to your performances. You're always engaging with your fans. There seems to be a lack of ego about you, and a lack of, or and such a sense of realness. Tell me about that. And
I'm definitely, to be honest, I'm still shedding off some of my ego. It's still in there.
we all are.
Yeah, it's
of
still
course.
in there. I still wake up sometimes like, yeah.
Like, look how awesome my
Yeah,
hair is.
Yeah, like I'm killing the game.
Well, but see, there's a
But-
fine line. That's
Yeah,
okay
it
too.
is a fine line,
Right,
for
right,
sure.
right. I'm
But-
talking about that humility of, I guess there's no separation. Like, I think what happens is it's like I'm the star and y'all are the people. I'm not talking about not believing in your
Right.
abilities. I'm talking about that feeling of I'm with you.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
it's like I went through that. Like
Totally.
Since I went through that, like I would feel like a fraud if I was sitting up here like stunned on you, knowing like I had the moments where I was walking like with my head down, real timid, like, cause I felt hopeless. Like since I felt that, like I wouldn't dare disrespect you or myself even trying to front on you. Like I feel when people see me, I know I have a some people view me as like a real cocky guy and things of that nature. I know it comes with it, but some of the time it get my confidence or my burning desire to win or to inspire people can come off as arrogance or something like that. But you know, I just really love people. I love inspiring
feel
people.
that.
Yeah, and like I guess where the ego lies, I'm cocky about inspiring people. Like that gives me a fire. That makes
Wow.
me feel good, because it's like once I turn it around for me mentally, and I see that people are starting to shift their paradigm, or like I said, they're already in the zone. They're just looking at me for like, yeah, this is like my soundtrack. Like I'm killing it right now, but you helping me kill it. Like I'm cocky about that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the cutting the ego down, like when you've been through what I've been through mentally and spiritually, you'll check yourself before it ever gets like out of control. And I'm seeing a bunch of artists starting to go crazy right now. It's like an epidemic. Just because when people start, if you come from a bad place and then out out the blue, people start worshiping you, literally. Like they work everything you say, they're hanging on to every word, and they're like really behind you, and they're like telling flattery, like it's beautiful, but it can like kill you at the same time. Like people are like, yo, you're the greatest thing ever, da 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 da. You like, yeah, like I am the greatest thing ever. Like I'm above you.
Right.
And then you start taking their support for granted, and then you realize like whatever feeling I thought I was finna get, whatever security I thought I was finna feel, it actually is like cutting me at the same time. Like, so I check myself before it ever gets like crazy kind of thing. Yeah.
So my conclusion is this: you changed our minds
Thank you.
with Law of Attraction, your first album, LOA. You changed our hearts with Grateful. And we're just looking forward to what comes next.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I hope that they all got a sense of who you are.
Absolutely.
Tonight, so.
And shout out to High Standards as well. Like
Yeah.
having, it was a big part of the manifestation, not just signing with Vince and J Dot from High Standards,
Yeah.
but the fact that it's called High Standards. There's a certain like every time I make music, like it has to complement that company and represent it well. And like that's been a big part of like the manifestation continuing.
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Zaya, your beautiful lady.
Yeah. She's killing the game
Ooh,
too.
she's so beautiful too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Melanie.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Thank you.